Samurai Jack is not black, but he's definitely back, baby, with my corny lines. And alrighty, guys, it is Quadman here today, giving you my Season 5, Episode 1 review of Samurai Jack. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So I want to give you a quick story to start us up today. So back in 2002, I went on vacation with my parents, and we were staying at a hotel, and Teen Titans was playing on TV, and my dad's a big comic book fan, so he enjoyed it. And right after Samurai Jack played, and we stayed around for a little bit, we saw it, and my dad was mesmerized by it, so he went out, he bought all the DVDs, and and I was watching it with him, and we really got into the series. And we were really bummed out when Samurai Jack was put on delay for so long, because it was really one of our favorite series to watch, as a father-son bond. And for me personally, Samurai Jack was one of my favorite animated series of all time. I love the show, I love the characters, I love the villains, I love the story, everything about it. And when I heard that Samurai Jack was coming back, I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome. So for this episode itself, to get all that story stuff out of the way, I'm fucking hyped. Let's get this show on the road. So the episode starts off with Samurai Jack riding his motorcycle through the desert, and he encounters these two interesting creatures who cannot communicate vocally, but they have these interesting signs that they use with I guess you could say telepathy to communicate text wise, which is really interesting, and it's very futuristic as opposed to where we see the series start off. And they're encountered by all of these bug-like creatures, and for those of you who don't remember, Samurai Jack has fought bug-like creatures before. As a matter of fact, he fought an extremely outnumbered battle back in the day where he fought with his sword and killed so many of them. It was one of the best moments that Jack has had. And that was actually the first episode I saw of the series. And taking it back with Jack on this motorcycle that has spikes on the bottom was just awesome. As you see the bugs being ripped apart, and you see the little creatures are so shocked. They're like, what the hell is going on here? And Jack's just cutting them up, ripping them to pieces. And after that sequence, we see Jack. He's driving his motorcycle by this lake, and this is where I felt Samurai Jack recaptured its glory. You see Samurai Jack's father and his mother through the river crying because Jack wasn't there to save them in the past, and you can see that throughout all these years, these 50 years that have gone by, Jack is paranoid. You can see he's visualizing things, he's seeing things, he's losing his mind. And for those of you who don't know, Jack has gone through so fucking much to try and stop Aku and to go back to the past and to fix everything, and something or another keeps getting in his way to keep stopping him. And he's gotten close so many times. He's encountered Aku, he's encountered Aku dressed up as a female, he's allied with the Scotsman and the Scotsman's wife, and all of these things that have happened, Jack hasn't been able to recapture its glory. And by seeing this, I felt the same feeling I felt as a kid, because you can see the anger and frustration that is going through Jack throughout all these years. And as the episode is going on, we also see that there are these 7 daughters that have been chosen from birth to go and stop Samurai Jack. They've been trained ever since the time they're very young just to stop Jack. And as the slave was talking to them, she was saying, as the daughters of Aku, this is your destiny to stop Samurai Jack. And I felt seeing those little girls running around, putting on their masks, killing all of those, those slaves throughout those training missions and climbing those mountains. I felt that was an incredibly animated sequence. And to see those girls so determined, especially the point where you see the slave, she stabbed the little girl's hand, and the little girl's crying, you could tell she's feeling the pain, but then she uses her adrenaline to jump out and get back. She's she keeps going. You can see a pure determination. It's literally these are artificially created people just to stop Jack, and I thought that really added more hype for all the future episodes. But you can't close this episode out without talking about the fight with Merciless. Now, I feel this was the key point in the episode where we see Merciless as, obviously Aku's top mercenary, and you see him talking to Aku on the phone, and as he's talking to him, like Jack like breaks his phone, and then Merciless starts fighting him. And Merciless had like this really awesome ability where he plays this flute, so like all of these this huge rock monster can come out, and seeing that rock monster fight Jack was awesome. To see how like Jack is like without a sword, like grabbing all of these projectile weapons to like fight against it, and like he's strong enough that he bashed that hole through him. This huge monstrous creature, you can see like Jack is still in like his physical prime because he hasn't aged, and that was like a great throwback, especially with his badass beard and all of his long hair. And the coolest thing about Jack now is that he now has like armor, as opposed to back in the day with Samurai Jack, you saw him with his light white robe. And the cool thing about this is it shows you how much duress Jack has been through all of these years, because you could only imagine how many people have been after Jack, especially going from season 4 and before. And now seeing Jack with armor, it's like a testament to like saying this guy's been under so much attack, he needs to have armor in order to protect himself from all these threats. So you see like Samurai Jack is like upgrading himself, like when you're playing like an MMO and like or like for example like RuneScape or something, like you upgrade your armor from like, I don't know, adamant armor all the way up to rune or something like that. That's like kind of the feel I got with Samurai Jack for all of my RuneScape fans out there. And it was just cool to see how like on this armor, like he can reflect things with his shoulder pads, and that ultimately helped him defeat Merciless. And it was badass how he like sliced him in half. So most of all, I mean, this episode was extremely action-packed. And one thing that my dad and I have talked about with Samurai Jack is this series does a phenomenal job of showing Jack act without necessarily having him talk. And I feel like that was a very, 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 very important thing that has been shown throughout Samurai Jack. Like, he is not very talkative. He's a very introverted character. And you can see a lot of his acting, especially with Phil LaMarr, who does a phenomenal job voice acting Samurai Jack, who was also Marvin in the Pulp Fiction movie. And seeing him like just this stoic demeanor character was also, you know, a great thing to like kind of reprise in this season 5 premiere. So for my criticisms, I would have really have liked to see more of an origin story as to what happened to these daughters, instead of like a quick flashback of seeing them as babies. I actually want to see like the process that, you know, Aku and all of the slaves put them through in more extended fashion. Maybe add like another 5 minutes to show that, so the episode would have focused more on Jack and the girls and not necessarily having the paranoia stuff. And the reason why I say the paranoia stuff is for all of you casual Samurai Jack fans out there, that was something that was greatly portrayed in this episode, but we kind of already knew all of this stuff from the past, so I would have liked to have focused more on new information. But overall, guys, I mean, this episode was badass. I loved it. Perfect 5 stars. My little criticism is not something to really derail from this episode, and I loved it, guys. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. I understand this is a channel that is mostly known for Dragon Ball content, but let me know what you think about this new episode of Samurai Jack. And so, with everything else said, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.